Hi, this is Andy Preston. This is Module 16. This is my case study, Internet Use Violations. To start off, the information that we were given during the case study, that what we know is Roosevelt High School is in a large urban area. It's a very affluent school. Parents have very well-off jobs. Students are well-off and are at a higher socioeconomic level. In this case, there's three main characters or people that are involved. It's Dr. Forbes. He's the principal. He's a 9-year experienced principal. He's been principal of the year in the state, and he is a very well-respected and a man of high integrity. Mrs. Walker is the teacher. She's the victim in this case. She's a first-year teacher. She's not your typical first-year teacher. She's a little bit older. She stayed in school and did her master's and did some graduate coursework before becoming a teacher. So she's an older first-year teacher. And then there's Randy Frank, the student that is the supposed perpetrator of the incident. The plot is Mrs. Walker's values education quite a bit. From her background and the way she teaches in a very structured and rigorous curriculum for science classes. She teaches zoology, genealogy, and botany, and they're higher level courses with higher level students. And she really teaches a very tough course, or teaches a tough class. Students are complaining due to the workload and the struggling to make the grade that they want. And Dr. Forbes has communicated many techniques and strategies to reduce this conflict from the ends of the students and with Miss Walker, and to create a positive learning environment and to produce students that are more willing to cooperate. Mrs. Walker has not implemented these ideas yet. It does not state why she has not implemented them yet, if it's time or that she's not willing to, but it says she just has not done that. And then Mrs. Walker has been emailed a link to a web page. So she goes ahead and clicks it. She's just kind of curious what this link's about. And she finds out that they've created a website about her that's mocking her and threatening her and just degrading her as a teacher and threatening to her life and to her personal character. And you can tell Mrs. Walker's really hurt. She calls up Dr. Forbes crying, worrying about her life and just that the students don't like her and that somebody would do this to her over the internet. And it's just a very somber situation. What do I need to know? Validate and find owner and creator of the website. That's number one. I think we need to take this as a serious case. We need to give this over to the legal system, and then we either need to figure out who created it, who made this website, and we need to figure out who it was and get whoever was behind this, because we don't accept this kind of behavior. Second off, we need to investigate Mrs. Walker's class a little bit more. I need to observe, look for rigor, conduct, student behavior, and see, is the class really that bad? Is it that hard? Are students not cooperating? Where are we at on that issue from my, firsthand experience just watching class? And then I need to check up on Mrs. Walker's well-being, follow up on strategies and techniques that she's going to implement that we talked about. And then really I just need to follow the district protocol, the legal stance for slander and malice towards a staff member. My plan of action is, number one, talk with our SRO, the local law enforcement, give it to them, hand it over to them first. I'm going to document the information. I'm going to find the policies that pertain to this case and kind of research them a little bit. And then I'm going to discuss immediately with my superintendent what happened and follow the district protocol or whatever the superintendent proposes. I'm then going to go ahead and investigate, observe Mrs. Walker's classes, follow up on the situation from all fronts, with meeting with Mrs. Walker as well, and just checking in on her and just keeping her in the loop. My reflection, the thinking that went through my mind on this case is how often this really occurs in schools and how many times teachers really are bullied or filmed or, made out to be such terrible people, I guess, if that's appropriate to say, or just hard people. That kids can be really hard on teachers at times. Another thing that really popped in my head is that social media can really blow this thing up and can escalate things and make it into a slander or malice type situation. When maybe the kid was just trying to have some fun, and it's not an appropriate way to have fun, but it can definitely take things to another level quickly. And then finally, how do I help a person who's really struggling or feels emotionally that they're not accepted or not good enough or they're disliked or somebody would do these kind of things to them? It has to be emotionally. It's not a good feeling. How do I help them cope and empathize with them? My feelings were that I'm angry that this happens to teachers often. I'm really disappointed with the students on their front, lack of handling the situation and work ethic and perseverance and not being able to fight through, how tough the courses are. And this is their way of handling the situation instead of, if they don't get a good grade, they don't get a good grade, that they want to whine and complain about the situation and then go to these lengths and attack someone's character as a teacher and as a person. And then finally, my feeling empathy for Mrs. Walker is in this challenging situation and have so much opposition. You have to really care for her. And then reflection of valuing, what I value here is, the adversity and challenges that I've faced in my life. That's really good experience that helps me out. This thinking back to challenging courses I've taken over my life in college and high school, being in the student's shoes, how can I relate to them and empathize with them and work with them. And then just having experience of, having to thicken your skin and having people be really negative and tough on you. And as a person, coach, and teacher, that just really helps when you're working with someone else that's going through this for the first time in their teaching career or first time in anything. How would I debrief the problem? Learning situation for everybody involved, including myself. How can we learn and grow from this? Following up on the adaptations that Mrs. Walker's creating in class and that the students are making as well. That it's not just Mrs. Walker, that the students need to make some changes as well. And the attitudes would be one of the things I would really look at with them as well. And then consequences for the actions that happen with the website. There needs to be some sort of consequence and know that these actions or these type of actions are not tolerated and that they will be persecuted, and we will find them and we will take care of them. And then I just reviewing policies and protocol, following up with the law enforcement, finishing documentation, following up with the superintendent, basically closing the book on the situation and nipping this in the bud as quick as possible. How did I demonstrate integrity, my ethical behavior? Number one, informing the superintendent about the situation immediately, not hiding anything. Number two, contacting local law enforcement, allowing them to take over the case, not me. And then three, following the policies and protocol for the situation that the district has, not what I think should be done. Treating people fairly, with equal dignity and respect. A couple things that I did. Number one, not calling out Mrs. Walker in front of the class, being professional with her, talking with her in a professional manner, giving her, positive enforcement, and then some criticism as well, some constructive criticism as well. Not singling out students, not yelling or screaming at students, but being frank with them and upfront with them and letting the legal system take its place, treating everyone innocent until proven guilty. And then finally, respecting Mrs. Walker's case, empathizing with her as the victim in this case, as she's in a very tough emotional state. Finally, my code of ethics, professionally and personally. Number one, giving strategies and techniques to help Mrs. Walker improve her classroom. Just trying to find new solutions to help her become a better teacher and help her classes in her situation. Number two, encouraging her, supporting her, and having patience that she's going to make these changes and following up on that, not being forceful or impatient, but just following up and being very patient and let her be the teacher and let her make the changes when she finds suit. And then finally, three, use the situation as a lesson on how to act and handle adverse, tough situations as a teacher, as a student, and as an administrator, modeling that to the students, sharing that, being a mentor towards them and talking them through this and just showing how important it is to show respect for others and have great character in adverse situations, not handle things in a poor manner, especially doing things, in a social media standpoint where, it kind of sticks to the tape. You can't take it back once you do something like that, and it can ruin your reputation as a person. And just being higher character people at our school. Thank you for the year. I had a great time learning in this class, and until next time, bye.